Hey, welcome. Now, first off, let's take a deep breath in and out. In your nose and out your mouth. Now let's try the opposite. In your mouth, out your nose. Let's try that. Ready? Begin. Almost did it wrong there. What I want you to try and do quickly is close your mouth and then try to sound out each letter of the alphabet. Alright? If you can't sound it out, that's the point of it. Just move on to the next one. Alright? M is the only one. Now, because our mouth was closed, we had to breathe through our nose. Alright? So air had to escape through our nose. Which brings us to our topic of today, nasals and other consonants. Alright? Now, just knowing from the word nasal means nose. Okay? So that's what we're going to be going over. Okay? Our lesson objectives for today is we will be able to identify the 3 nasal consonants and their sounds, and we can describe how each nasal sound is produced. Next, we will be able to explain the different consonant sounds of L, L, R, R, E, the J, which is U, and W. We can describe the features of these consonants. All right. Beginning, nasals. Nasals are all consonants. All right. They are sounds produced by air escaping through the nose. Hence the exercise of me closing your mouth. Okay. There are 3 nasal consonants or 3 nasal sounds. M, N, and N. Alright, it's a combination of N and G. Now, a little tricky. M and N are kind of straightforward, it's easy for you to do that. But some people may have trouble with the N, especially if their first language does not have this sound. Okay. Now, the basic characteristics of nasal consonants are that the air escapes through your nose, as you saw earlier. Alright, now how this works is that the soft palate is lowered and the air cannot pass through the mouth. Alright, so it's making a seal, a closure so that air cannot escape. Alright, like it says here, prevented by complete closure in the mouth at some point, so not at all points. That's hence why only M was the only one that we were able to say. Okay, the 3 types of closures are bilabial, lips, 2 lips, bi, 2 lips, touching. You can only make the M sound with your lips touching together at some point. Next, a velar. It's the sound that gives us And the last one, velar. It's the sound. Alright, it comes from the back, just like when you're producing k and is it k? Yeah, and g. Okay. Starting off with our first one, like I mentioned, bilabial nasal consonant, meaning that the lips are both touching at some point. And now, if you sound it out with me, all right, everyone, try it. 1, 2, 3, go. Very good. All right. If you notice, as you do it over and over again, you'll start to notice what exactly is happening in your mouth. You're able to sort of feel it, and if you're not, then probably just give it a little more try and try to focus. Alright, but the soft palate is lowered, the lips are slightly spread and pressed together, forming a complete obstruction of air. Okay, so there's blocking complete air from leaving through your mouth. Okay, and instead it has to go through your nose. Right, and it allows your vocal cords to vibrate, causing the sound. Okay. Next, our N. N is an velar nasal consonant. Alright. Similar to M, the soft palate is lowered, but this time the tip of the tongue touches the alveolar ridge, which is right at the top behind our teeth. Put it up there, and you can, alright? And that's what seals, your tongue touching the alveolar ridge kind of seals the air within, and it has to escape through the nose, okay? Next one, the more complicated one. Alright, now before we go on, or let's do this. It is a velar nasal consonant, alright, and the closure is formed in the mouth between the back of the tongue and the velum, as for if you're going to make the sounds k and g, k, g, k, g, alright? But this time, instead of you aspirating after, you're going to, the air is going to pass through your nose. Alright, the soft palate is lowered again, and you can, your vocal cords vibrate. Now, this point down here, it says never occurs initially in English. M and N initially, or it can occur initially, medial, and final, and it's the same. Mom, man, but never occurs initial, as an initial sound. Alright? However, can we think of some places around our island that have the as a letter instead of as a, just alone as a sound? Alright? Yes, Greg, very good. Alright, we have the Chamorro alphabet has okay. Cassandra, yes. Alright, we have Tagalog and others. Okay, we also have, I believe it is in the Palawan alphabet, but it might not be the same, hold the same sounds. Okay, and like it says here, it does occur initially in Vietnamese and Chinese. And in Tagalog, I'm for sure that it does occur initially. Okay. Now, going more into it, because this sound is unusual, okay? When we need to go over it more in depth. When we find the letters N and K, alright? The K is always pronounced. Think of the words think, bank, thank, sank. We always have that k sound at the end. It's always pronounced. Ng is pronounced with the following plosive g if the word cannot be divided into two morphemes. Example given, finger, finger. Alright? And not pronounced if the word can be divided into a verb plus ending, as in singer. Alright? Listen to it. Try doing it by yourself as well. Finger, singer. Finger, singer. Alright, you tell the difference at the finger, because that morpheme is not able to be split. We don't say finger, we say finger. But because we can split the morpheme here in singer, first morpheme, we can split the morphemes. The first morpheme being sing, second morpheme being singer. Alright, so now when this happens, you can only the g after the sound is expressed only in words that cannot be divided, or the morphemes that cannot be divided. Alright, another example that the book shares is anger. Okay, moving on. Here we go. On page 47, you can see the two columns of words. Column A can be divided into separate morphemes, but column B can't. Or column B can. Alright, as I was saying earlier, I gave you these examples. Finger, singer, anger, hanger. Alright. Additional g is not pronounced for words that end with n. Alright, for example, sing. It's not sing, sing, hang, bang, and long. Should not have a hard g, okay, sound at the end. Okay. Now, rule exceptions. G is also pronounced after and before suffixes. Alright? And when they're using comparative or superlative degrees of adjectives. So it's long, but then it becomes longer. Longer. Because of the superlative and the comparative. Longest. Alright? When we're using superlatives and comparatives, remember that the G comes after This is the rule exception. Doesn't always happen, but this is one exception. I know, English is confusing. Alright, so let's check our knowledge here. What are three nasal consonants? Okay, next. Before we begin, we'll start with looking at a video. Just a quick video to look that can help us to prepare for our test. The consonant L. Alright, like the man was mentioning, lateral approximate, meaning that the air escapes on the sides, okay, the closure of the center of the tongue, and the roof of the mouth. Okay, so it comes from the center of the tongue, rises to the roof of your mouth. Now, one thing about the L consonant is that it has two forms, a dark L and a clear L. Alright, they are allophones, meaning that they have two different sounds. Okay, like in the words li and il. Li, il. Okay, clear L's never occur before consonants and occur before vowels, like live, lake, value. Dark L's never occur before vowels, like eel, fall. Another one is after a k consonant, voiced, and it follows a stress aspirated p, like play. Alright, play, clay. Alright, next, consonant R. It is a post-alveolar approximant to be more specific. Tongue makes no contact with any part of the roof to the mouth. In British English, the sound only occurs before a vowel. Okay, never after. Like in the word ka. Alright, British accent, ka, hard. But it always does in American English, car, hard. Post-alveolar approximate consonant R. Considerable differences can be found in the pronunciation of R in different accents of English, British and American. The articulators approach each other but do not get sufficiently close enough to produce a complete consonant. Now if you focus on making the R sound, alright, you'll notice that the articulators do not they come close, but they do not make full contact with each other, okay, which makes R very unique. Many accents pronounce R in final position and before a consonant. Accents which have R in final positions and before consonants are called rhotic. Accents in which R only occurs before vowels are called non-rhotic. Okay? J and W. Y, W. Alright? These were previously referred to as semivowels. Phonetically, they're like vowels. Phonologically, they're like consonants. Okay? The J is Y. Alright? The Y sound. Like in you, use. Alright? And W, similar to W, or the sound for the W. For example, what, quick. And they only occur before vowel phonemes. Okay? Now, I'll give you some time to check your knowledge. Alright? And done. That's it. That's the end of our unit. Thank you very much. Now, know that this information from this slideshow is not my personal own information. I took this from the course PowerPoint, and I used information from the text of Peter Roach, Phonetics and Phonology. Alright?